gummy bear.
It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this on September 29th, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, you can join the Jeff Grubb Stars program, but no matter what level you are, I'm still gonna treat you like shit. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Carly Veloci. Veloci? I messed it up anyhow, didn't I? Carly, how are you doing? Again, I talked myself out of it. Carly, how's it going today?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can I be honest? I don't think I've ever brought this up here. Names, they give me a lot of anxiety getting people's names wrong. I hate it. I hate the idea. I wish I could just be a bub guy or a buddy. What's up, buddy? But no, I can't pull that off either. So I'm stuck in this nightmare.
Yeah, I'm not really a buddy type of person.
Yep.
So
Couldn't pull it off anyhow. Yep. It would never work. I do like whenever I talk to a waiter or a fast food employee, I do say brother, and I mean that in the idea of like we are all workers of the world and stuff like that. Listen, I see you, understand that you're working hard and this job sucks. So
I prefer comrade personally.
Yeah, comrade. Yes, I throw that one out every once in a while when I'm feeling really spicy and really wanting to get my point across. But yeah, Carly, I want to ask what I know we were just talking before, like a big move. I think things happening in the job world. We've had a lot of people on from Fanbyte. I think you're the first person. You were at Future, right? And that had a big fallout. What happened? How are things going with you over there in the world of writing about games?
Yeah, I had two jobs basically. So I was the copy chief and the gaming lead at Windows Central, Android Central, and iMore. And they cut the copy team, so I went with it. I'm not sure, with my gaming stuff, why I was cut, but it is what it is. I can't pretend I know their reasoning.
Can I say that I bet they don't know either when they made the decision? They probably don't know why they cut it either. It's like, we're cutting the copy. That means we're cutting. Yeah, that's and cutting the copy staff, the copy editors is always the move that shows they have no idea really what they're doing. They don't have any idea how important that stuff is. So, what was
copy team's always the first to get cut, to be honest.
Yep.
So I'm not surprised.
Yep.
They're like, oh, we don't need editors to make our stuff, make sure that we don't have a ton of spelling and grammar errors. It's fine.
But how did that? How are you feeling like you're coming out of that? I'm sure when it was happening, it was frustrating. I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
It was weird. Honestly, I had been laid off. You can't really be laid off as a contractor, but I had lost a job before in a similar manner. So it wasn't new to me, but I was still just well, I just moved. So this is great timing. I moved into an apartment that's more expensive than my last one. So that's also great. Just great stuff all around. It was mostly just well, at least I have time now to unpack. Because the pod came that week, and so I just spent the past week and a half, 2 weeks just unpacking boxes and buying furniture and putting furniture together. So could have been worse, I'll say. And just on a job note, everyone's just been so supportive and kind.
Good.
And people have reached out, and who are I'm so sorry to hear this. Just so it's really. Yeah, I just don't really have words for the emotional side of that, but it was just really nice to have everyone just coming out and being like, yeah, this sucks, and just me being like, I know it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a coincidence. It's all happened at the same time. All these companies are freaking out about the same stuff, and no one in charge really knows what they're doing. Long-term vision is just not a thing in online media in general, especially online games media. So, yeah, what's the plan going forward? You said people have been reaching out about jobs and work and stuff like that. Has that led in anything that's concrete that you have a lot of hope for?
Full time, but I have a few freelance gigs going. I just published a piece on digital trends yesterday, and then I have a couple other things. So I've got money coming in, or you hope you have money coming in when you
sure, right? Got freelance, yeah.
Because I was freelance before I was full time, and I dealt with the whole hey, where's my $500? It's been 3 months. I need that. So that's the fun part of being freelance. But yeah, honestly, it's been pretty good. It's been, I'm not gonna say easy because it's definitely not easy, but it's nice to have people reaching out and making it easier.
Yes. That's, I mean, I think the one thing is everyone knows what it's like to be in that position if you've been in games media for long enough,
Mhm.
or at least to know that to have that sort of Damocles hanging over your head where, oh,
Yeah.
you hear things aren't going great or whatever. That stuff is pervasive and ever present. So it's very easy for other people in this industry to empathize with what you're going through. So hopefully this turns into more. If you were, like, I guess my other question, I've been asking this a lot of people who have been in the same situation, especially over at Fanbyte. Do you plan to stay in games media or online media in general, or have you begun like looking at other opportunities?
I want to try and stay in games journalism. I know that's tough because
Right.
there aren't any jobs. And there are now fewer jobs than there were 2 weeks ago. But I don't know, I feel like I'm not done here yet. I feel
Right.
like I have more to offer. I've been in games journalism since 2012 on and off due to like freelance stuff. I had other jobs, but like, I have like hard news journalism experience. I've worked in technology, entertainment, and I just feel like I can contribute something to games journalism. So I'm not done yet, but that being said, if the right opportunity comes along that's not in games or technology journalism or anything like that, I wouldn't say no.
Right.
Exactly. So we're a little wait and see right now.
Yeah, I totally understand that. All right, well, let's get into this show. And before we do that, let's talk about what we do here. Most weekdays, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news, maybe even some of our own original reporting as well. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with the Snitch is teasing another game. I'm just gonna show this. Let's go over here first. Let me go to, there we go, and now bring up the news assets. It's this weird math quiz thing that he put on his thing. The Snitch has been getting more and more like the Riddler recently. I'm going to bring it up, but my understanding is this relates to Need for Speed Unbound, the game that was supposed to get announced a few weeks ago, and then actually it's been we haven't heard anything about it since then. All right, let me bring it up now.
I'm curious how you're getting or who got Need for Speed from this because
Hey,
I
you and me
don't know
both.
what any of this means.
You and me. I honestly don't know how anyone got, but the consensus among the wisdom of the crowd is that this relates to Need for Speed Unbound. I'll say that like what I've heard recently over the last week or so is that Need for Speed Unbound is supposed to get announced here next week, and then it should still be coming out this year, so December. It'll be coming out in December. That's I don't know if this math, if you actually do this formula, whatever, does it say all of that? I have no idea. I don't know how to use
Apparently,
Wolfram
it
Alpha.
says 64 according to the mentions of this tweet, but again,
Okay.
I don't know how we got there.
Maybe it's Unbounded. I don't know. Unbound. Whatever. But the next Need for Speed getting announced next week. That's this game is definitely something they've already said they were going to release in this quarter. That was part of their earnings release when they put out that calendar that we've referenced a lot of times recently when we were talking about Wild Hearts and Jedi Survivor. Need for Speed was on there. They have made that plain that they're planning to put it out. We have not heard anything about it, so it's weird that it's still coming out this quarter. Or I guess, actually the October, November, December quarter. So this next upcoming quarter, still, that's not far away. We're talking a matter of days. And now they are going to officially actually reveal it and then release it 2 months later. Do you think that is something that can work for a game like Need for Speed? Does it need much more marketing than that?
I think so. I mean, it's Need for Speed. It's a long running franchise. If you've played Need for Speed, you're probably going to get the new one regardless.
Right.
Maybe 2 months is enough time. So I don't know. Maybe. I feel like it's going to, if they marketed it now, it was probably gonna get lost in the October, November shuffle anyway,
Hmm.
so maybe that's part of their plan, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so the thing, like, they were gonna release this a little bit earlier, and then they delayed it internally by a month. You know, that's not a actual like public delay because they never confirmed a date or anything like that. But they were gonna
Mhm.
plan. They were planning to release it in November. It got pushed into December, so it got an extra month of work. Um, so I kind of wonder, you know, what's the state of this game going to be when we actually finally see it? I'm still expecting it to be a pretty interesting, maybe not departure, but a sideways move from Need for Speed. They're going to go with a more animated style on top of the realistic looking cars. So when you like run into a wall or something, a bunch of squiggly lines bounce off the car, things like that. Do you think Need for Speed can stand out in a world where Forza Horizon's been so well received, and we have stuff like Gran Turismo for the sim side of things, and arcade racers seem to be on the the rebound with that Hot Wheels game that people were really into? Can Need for Speed still stand out?
So, I just think it needs to figure out how. I'm not sure if making it more animated is going to do that, but I don't know.
Sure.
It worked for Battlefield where they made it a bit sillier and that
True.
was successful for them. Obviously not for 2042, but for
Right, in the
other
past.
options.
Yes,
So
yes.
so I don't know, maybe that's what's gonna do it, but I just think that like there's a fan base for Need for Speed, so it's probably gonna be fine regardless. It's just a matter of if it's gonna sell enough to make the studios happy.
Let's see here. More games getting pushed around and release dates moving. Skull and Bones got delayed again. This comes from the Skull and Bones Twitter account. Today, we'd like to give you an update regarding our release date. Although Skull and Bones' development is finished at this stage, the invaluable feedback received during our various technical tests and insider program convinced us we could use a bit of extra time to polish and balance the experience even further and ensure you all get the best experience we can offer. We have therefore decided to push our initial launch date to March 9th, 2023. We will be organizing more insider program sessions to continue gathering feedback, and in case you haven't had the chance to participate yet, you can also look forward to our open beta in the near future. This game was supposed to come out in let's see, what was it, like November or something like that, and they were doing a media event. That's one thing that's been going around, that people were going to be playing this game in the media for preview purposes in the next couple of days, and then that got postponed, and then suddenly this news came out and it all made sense. Now, I wasn't not a part of that, so I'm not like talking out of school or whatever. Are you here's I'm surprised, Carly, that Ubisoft is doing anything other than just firing and forgetting this game. I thought they were just trying to get it out there so they could get it off their books. The idea that they're delaying it to try to make it better seems like, futile, because is this game actually going to have any chance of getting any better?
I don't know, because I mean, it makes sense sort of that they would try and make it like a legitimate release because Ubisoft doesn't really have anything right now. They're still dealing with not dealing, they're working on all those Assassin's Creed things that
Yes, they
are
are.
in the works. And, like so many other projects got delayed. We still have no idea like about like Beyond Good and Evil 2, like if that game even still exists. And like this year, all they have is like what Just Dance, and I think there's like one other thing. So I was unsurprised that they were trying to push it out in November, but they were basically dropping it right before God of War Ragnarok. Like God of War is coming out on like I think the 8th, and this was coming out on the 7th, which is absurd. It was like gonna get lost in that
Yes, it
shuffle,
was. Yeah.
absolutely. And I was like, okay, good luck to Skull and Bones, really. And they're pushing it to March to like clean it up. But like there was a Kotaku report yesterday that spoke to a source that said that there's problems with player progression. And I don't know if that is the case. I don't know if they're gonna be able to fix that in just a few months. That
Agreed.
seems like a much larger problem. Um, and this game seems to have had like they don't really know what it's supposed to be, and that's sort of been the case for since it was announced, and we've heard like, oh, it's going to be like a Black Flag thing. Oh no, now it's a pirate simulator, and oh, now it's resource management, and which is fine. Sims do well, but I don't know. It feels like there's a branding issue here, and they're not going to be able to fix that by March.
Yeah, right. I think you nailed it. There's something wrong with the underlying vision where there wasn't any. There wasn't one. And so, they're they're not going to be able to come up with one and then execute on that in the next couple of months. And all the things I've heard from people who have seen this game or had some way of going hands-on with it is that it's not very good. It is a bad game. And that the progression might be broken. And all that seems to stem from they had one idea early on where you were just going to be a ship the entire time. It was all going to be ship combat. And then they realized that's not enough. And so they tried to attack on these other ideas. And those never really felt like they were working. And so now here we are. And they never canceled the game. And that was supposedly due to, and I don't know if anyone was ever able to confirm this. I wasn't able to. But supposedly due to the fact that they took money from the Singaporean government to work on this game, and they didn't want to give that money back, which they would have to if they canceled the game. So they have to ship it, right? So here we are, and that's I'm like, okay, well then just ship it. And now, no, they're still delaying it yet again. This is the 5th delay, I believe, something like that. So
something, and it's not even at Ubisoft Singapore anymore, right? Like they moved it.
I don't know that for sure, but that sounds right to me. But I don't know. I can't remember those details. But
yeah, I just remember it was like an issue of. Well, the team over there hadn't really done like a full game before, right. And it was a lot of like, we need to figure that out, or at least that's what the report said. I can't remember where I read that, but
yeah. That sounds right. And also, these Ubisoft games always have 5 to 10 teams working on them. And what is it like? Okay, well, Singapore, yeah, you were working on it, but any of these other teams could take over primary development of it, especially now that we're just trying to get it out. And we need you to work on some Assassin's Creed stuff now, Singapore. So please.
All 10 or 20 Assassin's Creed titles that are in the works. I can't keep track.
Well, who could? Who possibly could?
People who really like Assassin's Creed.
PlayStation Star's loyalty program begins rolling out. The program debuts today in Asia. It will begin hitting the Americas on October 5th. It'll hit Europe and Australia on October 13th. This is that loyalty program that got announced during the most recent State of Play. PlayStation Stars gives players who stay in the Sony ecosystem extra benefits. This is a quote here. There are 2 types of rewards, loyalty points and digital collectibles, Sony said in a guide published on Wednesday. Points can be redeemed in a catalog that may include PSN wallet funds, exclusive digital collectibles, and select PlayStation Store products. This is like My Nintendo or whatever, or Microsoft has similar stuff. But it's the kind of thing where it's not too big of a deal. The weird thing to me are these digital collectibles. They keep talking about you'll be able to get them. I just don't know what you do with them. They seem like another version of trophies to me, because you do get them by completing campaigns. Now these might be meta campaigns separate from in-game trophies, but still it sounds pretty similar. I just don't know, who do you show them to, or what?
Yeah,
how
like,
do you
where
show
do
them
you
off?
put them?
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna have like a trophy room on your profile now, or like, because Steam has a similar thing where you like can use points to buy like avatars and things like that. But at the very least, you can like show off an avatar easily. So yeah, I had no idea what this meant when I read it, and they were like, it's definitely not NFTs or blockchain related.
Yes.
So
These tokens are indeed fungible. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, fair enough. The other side of this, though, is PlayStation is giving top Stars members priority in customer support. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Players in Japan have been expressing their displeasure at one aspect of the newly launched PlayStation Stars loyalty program, which offers better customer support to players on the highest tier. PlayStation Stars, which is coming to the West later in October, lets players earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns and activities. The program also has a 4-tier level system in which all players start at level 1 and can work their way up to level 4 by buying games and earning trophies. However, some users are upset that the level 4 tier, which is unlocked after buying 4 full-price games from the PlayStation Store and earning 128 rare trophies, rewards players with improved customer service. According to Sony, the level 4 tier perks include a commemorative collectible and a promise that when contacting PlayStation customer support, you will be given priority in the chat order. Japanese Twitter saw this, and a lot of people were like, wait, well, no, I spent $500 on the system. I'm buying these games at full price. Why are other people getting ahead of me in line when I call in with a problem? My guess here, Carly, is that this is not going to be that much of an issue. People are probably still going to get their answers to any tech issues when they call in for support answered quickly, and I don't think it's going to mess up you're probably not going to have to wait an extra hour. You're probably not going to have to wait extra time at all, ever. How many times is someone with a level 4 going to be calling ahead of you? Still, though, this feels a little bit weird, right?
It's weird because games are expensive. Like 4 full price games is, now that they're $70, that's $280.
Yep.
And then not even that, it's the trophy thing, because that means you have to have played the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes,
like there are a lot of people who just like don't have that time, don't have that money, and I can see how they might feel like they're being punished for conserving their money, or being like, there's no games for me right now that I want to play, or so like it's weird messaging, even if it doesn't necessarily have any real world significant impact. I just think of like how like if you have an electric car, you can go in the HOV lane on certain highways.
Sure, yeah.
Like when I was in Los Angeles, like Los Angeles traffic is infamous for good reason. And it was like, oh, I can go in the HOV lane, but it's like everyone's in the HOV lane too. So it doesn't actually do anything. And I feel like this is sort of going to be the same thing where it's like, yeah, you do have this perk, but like you said, I don't think it's going to affect you too much, but it feels strange to even have that at all, really, because it's just like telling people like, we would really like it if you bought our games, and it's like, well, I'm going to be punished for not doing that.
Yeah, it's just like a weird look for a company where it's like, okay, yeah, I get locking some. Nintendo puts their phone wallpapers behind this stuff. Yeah, sure, I don't care. Customer support feels like something separate. Feels like the kind of thing where a grandma trying to set up a system for her, her grandchild. Yeah. It might be calling in and she doesn't understand why she's got to wait longer. That's an extreme example. I really honestly don't think that's going to happen. But just the fact that I'm imagining that scenario feels like Sony probably should have thought this through, and like customer support should probably not be a part of this whole thing.
This whole thing is weird, to be honest.
Yes.
Like all this like star stuff. Like I feel like PlayStation's struggling a little bit to figure out how to get people on the system, and
or what to do with their momentum, right? They have a lot of momentum.
Exactly.
What do they do with it, right? I think you're right.
Yeah. It's like with PS Plus too, when they're like, we're not going to put day one games on it. They said that like, I think like last week or something. I don't know what time is. And this one, it's like, we have this loyalty program and it's free and you get digital collectibles. It's like, what do you do with those? And like, can you use those to buy games? It's not like super clear. Like you can put stuff in your wallet, but it's like how much in your wallet? Like we don't really know. So it feels a lot of like just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what they want any of their programs to be at this point, because they want to get people to stay on their system and play PlayStation games, which of course they do, but I don't know if this is the way to do it. But
yeah, it feels like part of it that there was some meeting at PlayStation that says we need to be maximizing revenue at every turn. Mm-hmm. And so what can your division do to increase our revenue a few percentage points? And okay, well, maybe a loyalty program can make move the needle slightly. And what can we throw into a loyalty program? And it's like, well, let's just throw everything up on the board, and whatever does stick, like you said, we're going to throw it in there. And I don't know. This just feels like something they put on the bullet points, and it maybe never actually manifests in anything real, because it does just feel like a bad idea, this particular side of it. And then you're right, the wider idea of this whole STARS program overall, all the other companies do have one. The idea that Sony's making a big deal out of launching one now feels a little weird, just because it's so behind the eight ball, and it's so it's
too little, too late.
Too little, too late. It's just not that, I'm not that impressed by it, to be
not
frank.
Exciting.
Exactly.
Not something I want to sign up for. I don't really care about a digital bobblehead or whatever they're going to give out.
Razer and Verizon introduced the world's first 5G gaming handheld, and it's coming soon. This comes from Daniel Rubino at Windows Central. Verizon announced that it had partnered with Qualcomm and Razer for the world's first 5G gaming handheld. It'll be powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon G3X Gen 1. The handheld will give you access to games you love, whether they are downloaded to play locally, streamed from your console, or accessed from the cloud. More information will be released on October 15th at RazerCon. In December 2021, Razer and Qualcomm announced a handheld that was for devs only that was using the Snapdragon G3X Gen 1. It featured a 144 hertz refresh rate screen, 4K HDR HDMI output capabilities, updatable Adreno GPU graphics, and more. Now this handheld is coming to fruition. We're going to actually see it in action. This is similar to that Logitech cloud handheld that got announced last week, but different in some key ways. This thing is much more powerful and actually does have a 5G modem in it. And they're making it clear it's not just for cloud gaming. It's going to be really good for local gaming as well. And that's that Logitech one, while capable of downloading stuff off the Play Store, was never going to be a great way to play Call of Duty Mobile or whatever. It would be a fine way to play it, but not a great way. All that said, this still feels just about as weird as the Logitech one, right? I mean, do you have much desire for a device like this?
No, I mean, I feel like everybody's trying to get in on cloud gaming, mobile gaming, and this is just one of those, hey, look at what we got. And it's like, okay, like I can play games without Wi-Fi.
Yep.
But like, I can't imagine it's going to be a particularly good device. Like, it'll be powerful for sure, but if you're using 5G in a device like this, I have to imagine the battery's going to be an hour, maybe. Like, there's not going to be a lot of like juice in there to play games like Call of Duty on the go.
I mean, they're not super well optimized mobile games. They do just drain the battery like crazy. And this thing, Slacker Chan in chat says Steam Deck 90s Mad Cats edition. It is ugly. I don't like looking at this thing. I mean, maybe this is the dev version. Maybe they are actually going to update it, and it won't end up looking like this. Whatever. Whatever they have here in this picture, I hate looking at.
It looks like a concept. It doesn't look like a full thing. It's like just it's very strange.
And I don't want to have a device that I have a separate data plan for. Actually, I just want to be able to tether my stuff to my phone. That's easy. I can understand that. I already have the data plan on there. The idea of getting a separate handheld gaming device that then has its own data plan that I feel like if I'm not using it, I'm losing it. I suppose like T-Mobile has a data plan where like you can add other devices for just $10 a month and you get a certain amount of data. Still, even then, I'm like, I don't want to be thinking about that extra $10 charge for this thing. And
this is Verizon.
Exactly. And this is Verizon. So
like, it's going to be a lot.
It's going to be expensive.
I feel like, and this is just like my experience of these kinds of plans. Like, I feel like the people who like buy these extra things tend to be older. So it's like, why, like they wouldn't be using this kind of device. It's like my grandpa wants a hotspot, like he doesn't. Right. So yeah, I just don't really know who it's for. It's probably going to be expensive. Considering,
what do you think
like,
the price is going to be? Yeah.
And it's like, so you're buying like a whole console when, like, I feel like if you
we're
want to
talking like
cloud,
$600, right? Like you think for the price? Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and it's like, in my experience, like mobile gaming, is a big thing right now. People are trying to like figure it out. Now that it's so popular, or getting more popular, and I feel like the best way to do it is just do like. Razer already has something. It's the key sheet. You like put it on your phone. It costs like $100, $99. And it turns your phone into a handheld console that works extremely well. And it's got, it's got the battery, and this feels like a very, very niche product that maybe like 10 people are going to buy, if at all.
Yeah, it feels like an N-Gage. It does. I mean, it's... it will probably do slightly better than that, I guess. I mean, but depending on that price, maybe not. It's really hard to gauge until we know that. I suppose we will maybe get those details on October 15th.
For all I know, it's going to be like $300, and I'm going to be like, that's a great price.
If that's the case, that'd be wild. But what incentive does Razer and Qualcomm and Verizon have to subsidize the cost of this thing? Where Steam, they subsidize the Steam Deck because they know you're going to buy games on the Steam store, and so far they've been proven very correct in that assumption.
The Steam Deck's great.
Yeah, and the Steam Deck also very good. Yes, it's incredible. So, then you buy a lot of games, and Steam makes their money there, so they don't mind like taking the pain of selling that thing at a loss. And then we saw that with the Logitech thing, $50 less than the base model Steam Deck because they don't have their own store. They're going to be putting the Google Play Store on there, and so we'll see. We'll come back October 15th, and I'll talk more about this thing and see how we feel then. Fired Nintendo worker speaks out alleging union busting. This comes from Steven Totillo at Axios Gaming. Mackenzie Clifton, the Nintendo worker who filed a labor complaint earlier this year against the gaming giant, is stepping forward by name for the first time in an interview with Axios. The veteran game tester alleges Nintendo contracting firm Aston Carter had fired them in February because they asked Nintendo management a question about unions. The complaint alleged that the employers had interfered with Clifton's federally protected rights to discuss unionization without a fear of retaliation. Clifton traces their firing to an online company meeting for hundreds of Nintendo testers in January. Clifton's question wasn't addressed in the meeting, but later in that day, Clifton says a supervisor from Aston Carter called them, saying it was a downer question, quote unquote, and advising them to direct such inquiries to the contracting firm and not Nintendo itself. Clifton was baffled and kind of angry, they explained. Less than a month later, Clifton was fired. Nintendo has denied that unions had anything to do with Clifton's dismissal, instead saying the tester was let go for publicly disclosing confidential information. Clifton tells Axios that they had pressed the supervisors for proof of a violation and were shown a tweet they posted on February 16, which stated, "In today's build, someone somewhere must have deleted every texture in the game because everything is now red. Just like pure red. It's very silly." Clifton says that is misdirection, noting the tweet is vague. It does not clearly identify what Clifton was working on. Nintendo and Aston Carter did not reply to requests for comment about Clifton's account. The National Labor Relations Board declined to comment on the status of the complaint. Clifton's decision to file a complaint against Nintendo and Aston Carter was more to show the world and show my former coworkers that something like a union would not only be beneficial but maybe even necessary in the coming years. Carly, what do you think when you hear all this? This sounds very plausible to me, where someone brings up the idea of unions at work and then someone finds a reason to get rid of them, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing also is with like contractors, like there's no protection.
Yeah.
So for all we know, like that this all did happen, and I'd be like, yeah, probably. I was a contractor that was fired, laid off, whatever, for reasons that were never very clear to me, and I can't really do anything about that. So yeah, sure. And we've seen, other reports about how Nintendo treats their contractors, and none of it is particularly great. So
That was
yeah.
inspired by them originally coming out with this complaint and saying that this happened to them, and then a bunch of other contractors basically corroborated the idea that Nintendo treats them very poorly, treats them as second-class employees, and so the idea that all that stuff seems not only plausible but at this point pretty confirmed. It's in this one instance, you tweet about a game that you're testing or whatever. They will use that against you, and it's like so unfair. Of course, they're actually probably really getting rid of you because of the union question, and someone got annoyed at Aston Carter probably that you made them look bad, and so in response, they waited until they had a good reason to get rid of you, and they just investigated, and then surprise, a month later, it happens. Nintendo is not going beyond the individual corroborated reports. Nintendo does seem to be using contractors in a way that is against the spirit of the law that they are trying to abide by, which is, you kind of can't keep contractors on for permanently. You can't have permalance. You need to eventually bring them on full time. Well, Nintendo doesn't want to do that, so they work with a contracting firm that cycles them in and out after 9 months. You work there 9 months, and then you got to take a break before you can come back and do that work again. And that is, of course, that's like the accountants and the lawyers figuring out the best way to make money while still complying with the law. But it definitely feels like you are taking advantage of a system that you should be trying to work in, so that you can bring on more of these people full time, and that would solve most of your problems with the way people feel they're being treated, right?
You would think, but a lot of companies try to. This is even just a games industry thing. This is like
absolutely not.
It's like I worked at a local news station like years ago that only allowed me to work 29 hours per week. Otherwise, they would have to give me health insurance.
Yep.
So, and I worked like the worst hours, and I didn't get extra pay for working those bad hours, like weekends at night. So, the companies will try anything to save money. And
Yes.
sure, yeah, probably.
Yeah, and
what
like
Nintendo's doing.
all these laws that do go and the rules and regulations that get put into place usually feel like they are crafted in a way so these companies can get around things and not do the thing that was intended in the first place. And here we are again, which is, I mean, you know, what is the solution? Well, I mean, we can wait for government regulatory bodies to step up and say, hey, we are going to negotiate on behalf of the entire industry. This is something that's begun to happen very slowly in places like California, where fast food workers are now sitting at the table with a government regulatory body and then also the fast food industry, and they're going to iron out a contract that applies to every fast food worker in the state. That is something that could happen. We could wait for that. The other option, obviously, is actual unions, right?
Yep. And I'm always down for unions, and well, not always. Like police unions are a whole thing, but in general,
That's a gang. That's not a union. Huh?
Yeah, like in general, I'm very for unions, and you know, the company. Like we've been seeing this everywhere in America. Just workers rising up, trying to unionize. Like what's been going on with Starbucks is a good example of this. Seeing people trying to unionize and then unionizing, and then Starbucks retaliates with like this stuff like this, like these weird excuses for like shutting down Starbucks stores for like weird safety violations or removing mats after. Like it's all very retaliatory, and you know, like we're also sort of seeing it with Activision Blizzard, not to this extent, but to the extent that like they just didn't want to accept the union, recognize it, and they had all these like anti-union busting stuff going on. So yeah, no, all this to say, like contractors should absolutely unionize. I'm all for that. I feel like Nintendo contractors for it's like such a huge company, like absolutely should. And I do think this person's you know, this whole thing going on, like, absolutely did what they wanted to do, which was, like, bring, attention to this whole issue, because now we're talking about it, and whether they get anything from Nintendo or not, which I highly doubt they will, to be honest,
Agreed.
because Nintendo's got a lot of money, a lot of good lawyers.
Very good lawyers.
But now we're talking about it now. We know more thanks to all these reports from them speaking out, so I think I mean, it sucks that they lost their job, but it's been very successful, at least on the front of like drawing attention to these issues.
Very good point. I think that's well said. Sega has announced its first blockchain game. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. As reported by 4Gamer, the deal with Japanese blockchain company Double Jump Tokyo will result in development of a new game based on Sega's popular Sangokushi Taisen series. Sangokushi Taisen is a real-time strategy game which is mostly played in Japanese arcades and sees players collecting physical cards which they can then place on the playing area to make them appear in the game. The new title, which will be developed by Double Jump Tokyo with Sega lending the use of its IP, will use blockchain technology, but it's not yet been made clear as to how this will work. I think we could probably imagine it'll be like those cards will be NFTs on the blockchain or whatever. Release date and platform information for the game has yet to be confirmed, but depending on when it's released, it may be the first blockchain game made with Sega's involvement. These things kind of just, you know, they feel like they went away, but they kind of just keep happening. Are we going to be in a situation?
If not gone away.
Yeah, where we look away for a while, and then we look back, and suddenly like a good portion of the industry is just blockchain games, or is this like the vestige of deals that were sort of happening and before everyone decided they didn't care about this?
The second thing, although I don't think people don't care. I mean, like generally players don't. We've seen this in surveys. Developers don't care, but executives care. They want to like, let's explore this technology. But like, there haven't really been any super successful blockchain games yet. I mean, like, what was that one? Axie Infinity?
Yes, Axiom Infinity, yes.
Yeah, with all the axolotls and everything.
Yes.
Like, that's the closest we've gotten so far.
And that has crashed and burned at least at one point. I haven't looked recently.
It's just like all these like blockchain, NFT, crypto stuff. It's all like just crashing and burning around us, but people still want to try it. Like Square Enix keeps being like, we're really into blockchain, and everyone who isn't is just dumb. Happy 2022. And in terms of this thing, it sort of brings up this issue I sort of have with a lot of blockchain NFT stuff, which is like, why are you using this technology when we already have ways to do this that don't require blockchain? Like you said, we can assume that it's like the cards live on the blockchain and you have access to them. But then it's like, don't you just own cards? Like I don't understand why you even need the blockchain
You
in the
don't.
first
Yep.
place. So yeah, I'm like, sure, whatever. Do your thing. I'm not gonna play it.
I'm
A
just
lot
gonna
of people
keep ignoring you like I have been. Absolutely.
exactly.
Disney Dreamlight Valley plans to get fresh content in October. This is just a quick one. This comes from their Twitter account. We've been blown away by the excitement you've brought to the Valley, but also know there are still issues to be tackled. They say they're going to have some major updates and patch fixes coming soon. They're always working on like their most important fixes, they said, but they also have a big like batch of bugs that they're going to address in their first major content update, which is coming. They say they hope to release it in October, and this will be when they release Scar from The Lion King into the game, which is a weird choice, I feel like. Scar. Like, kids clamor. I guess it's not for kids. Maybe it's just for the edgy Disney adults who really relate to Scar. I don't know. Are you into this Disney Dreamlight Valley game?
I haven't played it, but I think that the whole concept of it is bizarre. So why not add Scar?
Fair
I know
enough.
that I know that rhymed, but
I love it.
yeah. So yeah,
Bars.
sure. I mean,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, it's I'm wondering like what the cadence of these releases are going to be, and what level they're going to be at. Okay, so Scar is the first one, and then I think Toy Story, they said, will be the focus of the game's second major update. Okay, like the whole like the wider Toy Story universe. So are we going to get like Buzz and Woody and Jesse and everyone right away, or is it just going to be Zurg or something? The which is of course the Scar of Toy Story. I don't know. It's weird, but also this game has a lot of momentum. It hasn't even gone into its free-to-play phase. It's still in that early access thing where you have to pay to play it. So they have a bunch of beats they still need to hit before they really need to start worrying about like how they are handling these content updates.
It's doing much better than I thought it would, to be honest. It's on Xbox Game Pass, right? So that probably also super helps with people getting in and playing it.
Good point.
So they're probably going to play around with like this update stuff because they're in early access, and I'm sure it'll sort of taper off as the game ages. But I mean, and also like I assume at some point they're going to run out of Disney properties to add,
well,
unless
that's just naive. You know they're just going to keep buying more. You know they're going to just keep buying more.
That's true, and like maybe they'll start adding like Star Wars and Marvel,
yeah, without a doubt,
and
yes.
Lucas, like Indiana Jones, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's like very like sort of like prime Disney right now.
Me and Jan did a quick look for this game, and I asked him what he thought about them adding like the Fox stuff. Do you think like Simpsons gets in there, or Aliens, or I'm just going to try to think of like another sitcom, but yeah, like something along those lines.
I mean, at some point, probably. I mean,
I agree.
Like if they're doing, like if you look at Fortnite and they're just throwing everything in there, like it doesn't really matter,
right,
which properties they put in there because people are going to be interested. So I assume at some point Disney Dreamlight Valley is going to start doing that too. Just we might have to wait a little while for the Simpsons to start interacting with Toy Story characters, and I don't know if I'm into that personally, but I can think of a few people who are like, this is dumb, I love it, give me more of this. Video games,
exactly right. That's what video games are going to be going for. Everything's Fortnite, everything is Disney. All right, I'm jumping ahead to the quick hits here. Scorn is releasing a week early. They confirmed this in a video. Is this good for you? You're excited about Scorn?
I am. I'm very excited about it. It looks gross.
I watched Jess play a little bit of the I guess the early demo or whatever. It's very gross. It's very upsetting to me, a coward. And I think it's kind of, but it also is like it's gross mist as far as I understand, where it's like you are just going to be solving these puzzles in this disgusting world. But people
feels like vibes. I love it.
Yes, people seem excited about it, and now it was coming out October 21st, but no longer. It's now coming out October 14th. I can't think of any like obvious reason why they're doing this off the top of my head, but like maybe there's something that was like coming out that time at the same time, or maybe they just like this makes more sense for us. We're ready for it.
October 21st, I'm pretty sure was like because I had put together the editorial calendar at when I was at Future, and the end of October was like the Resident Evil Village DLC, new
Right.
Tales from the Borderlands, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. So pushing it up a week is probably getting it out of that mess.
Right. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition is out now on Nintendo Switch. I can never remember what the Anniversary Edition actually is. So
it's got fishing.
It's got. I do remember it
That's
has
all
fishing.
I know. It's
Yes.
got fishing.
You can upgrade or buy the complete bundle. So if you have the Skyrim that's already out on Switch, you can buy this upgrade. And they said the Anniversary Edition includes a decade worth of content, the critically acclaimed core game, and add-ons, plus new content including quests, dungeons, bosses, weapons, spells, and more. And they didn't list fishing here, so that's a failure on the marketing's part. Let's see. Leaked video allegedly shows Returnal on PC. This is... I don't think this one's been confirmed yet. Actually, the next story has actually been confirmed. But I'm going to bring this here. We're going to do it. We're going to risk it, everybody. We're going to put it in here. I don't care. Fuck the police. Here is Returnal showing a bunch of PC settings. You can see DLSS and ray tracing and stuff like that. I'm ready to play Returnal on PC. I like the game on PlayStation. It was a bit too rote, a bit too repetitive for me. Not because it's a roguelite, because it's not a very a varied roguelike. So, but going back and playing on PC with mouse control and keyboard, that sounds pretty good to me. And then having all these extra features, of course, is nice. Were you someone who was into Returnal ever?
No, I never got around to playing it, but with PlayStation putting all their stuff on PC, it was sort of a matter of time with Returnal, so...
Yes, that's absolutely right. As proven by the next one, Sackboy: A Big Adventure is launching October 27th. This on PC. This is a leak trailer that got out early. It was unlisted when I put it here. Apparently, it's since been confirmed. It's coming out October 27th. It has 4K, 120 frames per second support, ultra wide support, NVIDIA DLSS, and VRR. So. That's, cool. I like this game. It'll be a fun one. I think it has like online multiplayer. I think, I'll play this online with some friends on PC. I really enjoyed Sackboy when I played it on PlayStation 5. So, again, is this one that you got any hands-on time with?
No, but I'm very happy for Sackboy fans.
Yes, me too. All right. There was that first thing about first Dead Space remake screenshots. You could check that on the blog, but I just want to point out that they are going to do the gameplay reveal in October. I don't know if they have reconfirmed that. They said way back before in spring that they were going to do the gameplay reveal in October. So we're coming up on that. So you expect to see that game soon. And these screenshots so far have revealed a game that looks really good, I think. Are you a Dead Space fan?
Yeah, and I'm really excited.
It looks good, right?
Yeah, although I did play the original Dead Space fairly recently, and it still holds up really well. So I don't really know if a remake was necessary because it's still very playable, even if it got some old stuff in it. But I'm gonna play this. I'm absolutely gonna play this.
I mean, clearly, a lot of times these remakes aren't for necessary for the players. It's so they have another game they could sell at $60 or $70.
Of course, yeah.
With that in mind, just having played it recently, you're still gonna go back to this though, right? I mean, as a Dead Space fan.
Yeah, these remake, remastered kinds of things, like you said, it's just to, sell another game. But this is a remake rebuilt. This isn't like the Alan Wake remaster, which I also was very excited for because Alan Wake's one of my favorite games. This is a fully fledged remake, so I'm very excited to see what happens. And I do know that we'll see more coming in October, so I'm very interested. And also, I just want to say, Motive and EA have been doing a really good job marketing this game with
I agree.
The different, dev talks. So
yes.
keep doing that too.
It seems like a strategy because they've been doing it with Skate as well, right? Two games where they are talking about them early, being willing to show development tools in use as part of the marketing for the game. It's okay. We understand that making games is challenging, and this is kind of what it looks like in that process. And of course, they're still packaging it up in a way that makes the game, it puts its best foot forward in most of these cases. But regardless, it's I like that they are sharing with us more stuff earlier, and then telling us relatively early in October we'll show you the gameplay. So everything between now and then is just extra. So just wait until then.
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's extra, and then the Callisto Protocol, which is also Dead Space.
Exactly. So yes, you got the Callisto Protocol in between this and now and then. So there you go. And then Cyberpunk 2077 hit 20 million in sales. That's up from 18 million in April. And of course, it sold 13 million famously in its first month when there was a lot of returns, and who knows exactly what that number was. But now, since then, 20 million. This game obviously picking up pace again. That's been one of the big talks of the industry over the last couple of weeks. That number, though, 20 million, is a big milestone. Not many games get to that point. And I wasn't sure if this one ever would, and now here it's done so, and I think maybe quicker than I would have expected, even if I would have been expecting this redemption arc. What do you think?
I have a lot of thoughts about Cyberpunk 2077 that I'm not going to get into here because it's a quick hit, but I'm not surprised just based on the success of the anime, and we've
Yeah,
seen that you have like a media tie-in with a game and boost game sales, which is, it happened with The Witcher,
it's
and I
good.
assume that's what's Sony's banking will happen with The Last of Us. So I'm not surprised it hit 20 million. I'm just, like the game didn't launch very well, so I kind of wish it was a little lower, but that's just me.
I agree. I agree 100%. All right, then let's hit these Japanese physical sales charts. The software sales, Splatoon 3 still number one with 300,000 copies sold, which is still way above what most new games sell. For example, here's Taiku no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival sold 31,000 copies. That was the best-selling new game on the charts. Splatoon 3, just an absolutely dominant force in Japan. Its physical sales are now at 2.743 million copies sold. So, yeah, still can't deny Splatoon is massive there. The other one, interesting one here, Horizon Forbidden West moved back up into the top 10. It's number 3 with 10,000 copies sold. That's 10,000 physical copies. Its total physical copies now sold in Japan are 81,000. So it's done an eighth of its sales in the last week. That's got to be, there must have been some bundle, and that's what they're counting, right?
I have to imagine.
Right?
I don't know. There wasn't an update or anything, so I have no idea why.
The
But
only other thing I could think of is there was that new PlayStation 5 revision, and maybe so many people were out there buying that thing. But it's not, they didn't actually sell that many PlayStation 5s. Let's see, they sold 26,000 PlayStation 5s that last week. So, a bundle's the only thing that makes sense. That's
yeah,
probably
or
true.
a sale or
Really,
something.
yeah, good point. And then the Dio Field Chronicles was another new game. 6,415 copies sold. That's on the Nintendo Switch version. Not too hot for a game that I wasn't sure how it would fare. It seems like people seem to like it, but it seems like it's coming and going. I don't know. Have you looked into the Dio Field Chronicles? It was that one that everyone thought might be Final Fantasy Tactics, but it had the real time combat instead.
Yeah, I mean, this is not my kind of game, but I've sort of been following along with it. And I think it's just kind
Same.
of going to be a sleeper hit. Like, as more people learn about it, it's going to start selling well. Cause, like, there wasn't a lot of marketing behind it, but people are like, oh, this game rules.
Yeah.
At least the people I know who like those kinds of games are like, this game rules. So I think it's just going to be sort of a steady sort of game. It's not going to like peak and then drop dramatically.
For hardware sales, the Switch OLED did 55,646 units. The Switch was at 27,000 units. Switch Lite, 4,000 units. PS5, like I said, 26,000 units. And then the digital edition did another 3,000 on top of that. Xbox Series S, though, kind of still maintaining its decent performance in Japan. 11,635 units for the Xbox Series S. The X, meanwhile, clearly still supply constrained at 544 units. That is, when it's been available in Japan, it's done much better than that. So S available and selling, and then 10 PS4s were sold and 41 2DS LLs. So good for them.
I love 10 PS4s. That's
Me
my
too.
favorite.
I always like the anywhere near the single digits and they're still tracking them. That's always fun for me. All right, let's see. Let's get to the poll. Actually, you know what? I need to get that up. So in the meantime, Carly, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything you want to promote? Anything that you've been working on that you want to talk about, or just want to talk in general about, like, what people can get if they were to say hire you, for example?
Well, if you hire me, I'm a very good editor. I can copy edit. I can do like, edit edits, like make your piece better. So hire me if you need an editor. I can also write. I do reviews, critical analyses, some reporting. So I can do a lot of things. So if you need someone who can do a lot of things, you can find me online. I'm mostly on Twitter at velocciraptor, which is just velociraptor with an extra C in it. I am also on Instagram, but not nearly as much, and all the other socials. So Hire me.
I think it is the kind of mind it takes to be a copy editor. It's a special thing, I think, because you like the idea of like wanting to read other people's writing and help them improve it and go through that process of like you're the first line of criticism, and people are so terrible at taking criticism. Like the idea, like I'm good at this, and I'm good at like navigating humans, like taking criticism. That's again, it's a special thing. So, definitely credit to you for trying to take on that job whenever you have.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's see. Let's get to this poll. Do you think the Monster Hunter genre is big enough to support multiple games? 63.4% said yes. 3.6% said yes, but only from indies. 24.3% said no, but devs should try. And 8.7% says no, I only play Monster Hunter. I think this is right. There's definitely this thing in the in this hunting space where there's been Monster Hunter and then another one of those games. Someone pointed out to me recently, though, that has meant Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise. And maybe even Capcom has figured this out as well. So it might be even hard to compete if Capcom keeps going this like two-pronged approach with having multiple Monster Hunter games going at the same time. Let's see. And then I wanted to ask for today, how do you feel about Overwatch getting replaced by Overwatch 2? I'm going to say, let's see. It's
exciting.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, it's exciting. It's weird, but oh well.
It's a mess.
It's a mess, thank you, and
no thoughts whatsoever. Head empty.
No thoughts. Head empty. Wow, you are very helpful. That ruled. Okay. All right, I can tell the editor just came right out of you. Like you couldn't even help yourself. That ruled. All right.
Also, I have a lot of thoughts about Overwatch 2, so
yeah. Well,
easy.
This is the opportunity to talk about them. How are you feeling? You jumped at it's exciting. Like, is that really how you feel about Overwatch 2? Just okay, cool. So,
I'm not a fan of the way that Blizzard has been handling just Overwatch in general, and Overwatch 2 is just very, very strange. Like the Battle Pass stuff is really peculiar. Like how much you have to play to just unlock all the characters, and nobody plays Overwatch like that in my experience. Like I used to play Overwatch a ton, and it was sort of like I knew going in who I wanted to check out, who I wanted to play, and it's a lot of hours to put in just to figure that out. And then the new characters locked at the end, and they changed up the gameplay. It's just not great. Not a fan.
Have you are you like planning to jump in right away though? I mean, you obviously spent a lot of time with Overwatch. Is still you're like, I gotta see for myself, or is it almost like a bummer now to go back to Overwatch?
It's a bummer. Like I played ranked for a while, and that got really exhausting. I mean, I will say though that Blizzard has a lot of changes to the chat stuff and the communication, and those things I'm like, yes, please, like put these changes in because chat is toxic in Overwatch. But yeah, it's just like I was always a support class. Like I played like Moira and Lucio, and Blizzard has not been kind to the support. So generally speaking, yeah, just not a game for me anymore. It's a game if you like playing like Genji and DPS characters, not really if you're a support person.
Well, we will have to keep an eye on what Overwatch does to our good friend Carly. Carly, it was awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I want to yell real quick at Nibel on Twitter. He says he's going to announce something in a bit. Of course he's going to do it after the show, right? How dare he?
No.
Yeah, it's messed up. I can't believe this guy.
Rude.
Let's see. We ran out of time today. People, I was going to talk about those Halo Battle Royale rumors. I don't have any concrete information, just some speculation from like thinking about it. The short version is I think it's possible that they're doing a hard reset on that stuff, and that could involve that Battle Royale from Certain Affinity moving to Unreal. But again, can't confirm, no idea. But it seems like they're going in that direction of we need to scrap everything and rethink what we're doing here, and sunk costs be damned.
Especially after the mess that's been Infinite, like you gotta regroup.
I think that they are in a regroup mode, a heavy regroup mode. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. You're the best audience of gaming. We'll be back with more Game Mess Mornings tomorrow. We have Sonic 06 coming up today, I believe. I think that's the idea. And we'll see. I'm going to watch Dan Riker play more Sonic 06. Just a truly messed up thing. So sorry, Dan. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.
Bye.